Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Out of Your Faith is Your Fortune, this chapter 4, Whom Seek Ye? Really an amazing chapter, really kind of getting into one of the things that a lot of us do, which is we place all of our awareness outside of ourselves, and then we assume that's the reality, or that's where everything's happening. And what Goddard's really trying to do is to get us to shift ourselves back inward. Put the awareness inside ourselves, because that is where creation happens. The truth is, awareness is what creates reality. Awareness is consciousness, is who we are, who we're being, who we're thinking. When we place awareness outside of ourselves, what we're doing is we're saying, after I've manifested something, I'm going to focus on it and manifest more of it. That's essentially what you're doing. You're taking what you've already manifested and deciding to manifest more of it. Now, if you're focusing on good things, awesome. You're going to continue to see the cycle, and that's why it can be a self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of people say, like, well, when I do all this manifesting stuff, good stuff starts to happen in the universe. I start to like that. And I start to get excited about the good stuff happening in the universe. But then what ultimately happens, and it happens to a lot of us, is you might go through a moment where the good stuff stops. Maybe they don't text back. Maybe they go a few days without talking to you. Maybe you're not getting that call back on that interview as quickly as you would like because everything else has been going so well. And then what happens is we look at that and we see that as some sort of truth, and then we focus on how it's not happening. And we create more of it. Now, why does that happen? Because we're placing our awareness inside ourselves, our internal awareness, onto something. We're placing our awareness on it, and that is why we get more of it. That's why when things start to fall apart, when the text message doesn't happen and we start having doubts and we start freaking out, that we make it worse. We make it worse. And that's why everyone that's a teacher, or everyone that's a master, or everyone that's any good at this, the first thing that happens when doubts creep in is you remember to focus on what it is I'd like to experience. Yeah, this isn't working. It's really, whoa, wait a minute, hang on. Whoa, yeah, I'm paying attention to something that I shouldn't. What do I want to experience? Okay, well, this is what I'm creating. I'm creating this relationship with this individual. I'm creating this new job at this new company. The fact that I was just worried about the fact that I haven't gotten a call back yet. Whoa. Hang on. So I'm getting the job, or I'm getting a job. All these things are aligning up perfectly. If it's not here, it's going to be somewhere. It doesn't matter. But I'm definitely getting a new job. And you just stay focused on that rather than letting your current reality shift your awareness to something you don't want to experience. That is why so many of us get off track. There's a quote, "Nothing happens except through the Lord." And really what that means is, nothing happens except through our awareness. Goddard frequently connects the two, Father and awareness, or God and awareness. So nothing happens except through that awareness. Wherever you place that awareness, I've called it a laser beam before, is what you're shooting your rays of intention at. It's what you are creating. Does it matter if you have that thought for just a brief second? Yeah. Does it matter if you have that thought for an hour? Yeah. Does it matter if you have that thought for 4 seconds? Yeah. How do you fix it, Dan, if I've had a bad thought? Well, if you just said something right off the bat, I frequently say, I bless, release, and erase that horrible thing I just said. I hate you. Oh, I bless, release, and erase, I hate you. Sorry, didn't mean that. I'm upset right now, but I do not hate you. That's for sure, right? Like, you can fix it, you can pull it back. But if you just spent 5 minutes, 10 minutes entertaining some sort of thought, entertaining some reality in your world that you don't like, can you undo that? No. The only thing you can do is focus on what you would like to experience. That's technically undoing, but you can't undo what you've already done. It's in the past, it's done. It's done. You can recreate something anew. The awareness is where it starts. Something bad's going on in the world. Focusing on it just creates more of it. The only way, and this is what he's talking about in this chapter, the only way you can change your current reality is to change your awareness, to change what's going on inside of you, to change what you're paying attention to. That is the only way. Test me, I dare you. I dare you to prove me wrong. I dare all of you. Because what you'll notice is when you shift your attention, when you shift your awareness to where you'd like to go, one, you generally feel better because you're not always focused on crap. Two, you actually start creating your reality. And then, oddly, you start to notice your physical reality starts to match up with what you've been focusing on. So instead of going, everything's going great, life is good, you realize life is good, and I'm going to make everything great. I'm going to be everything great. I'm going to live in greatness. So let's get to Goddard. Let's let him talk about it. I wanted to give basically the snippet of what he's really doing. And this is, again, is a long chapter. So I've grabbed a lot of paragraphs, but I tried to pop as many out as I could just to shorten it a little bit. So let's get into it. Today there is so much said about masters, elder brothers, adepts, and initiates that numberless truth seekers are being constantly misled by seeking these false lights. For a price, most of these pseudo-teachers offer their students initiation into the mysteries, promising them guidance and direction. Man's weakness for leaders, as well as his worship of idols, makes him easy prey of these schools and teachers. Good will come to most of these enrolled students. They will discover after years of awaiting and sacrificing that they were following a mirage. So many of us place our attention outside of ourselves, place our faith onto teachers, even like me. Don't listen just me, listen to yourself. Hopefully I'm guiding you to do that, but I am not someone that is to be listened to. I'm not the one that's going to tell you how to do it, nor is Goddard, nor is any of the other masters before us. It's from within that the creation happens. These people demonstrated, perfectly mind you, demonstrated how to do this. They will then become disillusioned in their schools and teachers, and then disappointment will be worth the effort and price they have paid for their fruitless search. They will then turn from their worship of man, and in so doing discover that which they were seeking is not to be found in another, for the kingdom of heaven is within. This realization will be their first real initiation. The lesson learned will be this: there is only one master, and this master is God, the I am within themselves. So what he's saying is, the second these people finally realize that seeking answers elsewhere, outside of yourself, looking in the universe around you, that eventually they realize it's not there. And eventually they look where they need to look. And this is why it wasn't fruitless. This is why all this frustration that these individuals went through on these learning finally find their initiation into the first rites, or the rites of passage, is when they realize that inside of us is the I am. Inside of us is the presence that does the creation. There is no barrier to God, for God is your awareness of being. Regardless of what you are aware of being, you can and do express it without effort. Stop looking for the master to come. He is always with you. I am with you always, even unto the end of the world. So again, very important to understand that we are expressing law of attraction constantly. Wherever your awareness is at any 1 second of any part of any day, you are creating. Always, 100% of the time. There's no turning on and off. It's not the techniques. Techniques are meant to get you to focus. They're meant to shift your awareness to a particular place. They're meant to help initiate an experience. That's all. The experience is what is doing the manifestation. The awareness is what does the creation, not the technique. Technique doesn't matter. Technique is crap. It is what you're doing while doing the technique that matters. All of them are like that. That's one of the reasons why I love breaking down techniques, because it's the mechanics of the technique that really is impressive. Anyways, continue. You will from time to time know yourself to be many things, but you need not be anything to know what you are. You can, if you so desire, disentangle yourself from your body you wear. In so doing, you realize that you are faceless, formless awareness and not dependent on form, that you are an expression. You will know that you are. You will always discover that this knowing that you are is God, the Father, which preceded all that you ever knew yourself to be. Before the world was, you were aware of being, and so you were saying, I am. And I am will be, after all that you know yourself to be, shall cease to be. He writes in such tangled words. Basically, before we were here, we realized we were aware. Awareness already existed prior to having a body. We knew we were an I am. We knew we were an energy, a being, something, a soul, I don't know, whatever that core part of ourselves that goes away once the body stops. That's the part of us that is doing this work. Consciousness being Lord and Master, you are the master magician, conjuring that which you are now conscious of being. For God, consciousness, calleth those things which be not as though they were. Things that are not now seen will be seen the moment you become conscious of being that which is now not seen. The second you're aware of what you don't have, meaning the second you realize that you are that comes from you, this creation emanates from inside you. The second you realize that by being this thing you desire inside yourself, in your mind, by being it, you create it. And it will never be until you yourself become it. Inside your mind, inside your being, inside your understanding, inside your consciousness, understanding that this is a future I can have. I'm allowed to have it. I'm able to have it. I make my own reality. This is the reality I'd like to make. Thank you very much, universe. Going to do this. And do it. That's it. And then be aware of what's happening. Don't expect it to just fall in your lap. There will be things that do fall in your lap from time to time, and there will be times you need to do things. This rising from one level of consciousness to another is the only ascension that you will ever experience. No man can lift you to the level you desire. The power to ascend is within yourself. It is your consciousness. You appropriate the consciousness of the level you desire to express by claiming that you are now expressing such a level. This is the ascension. It is limitless for you. You will never exhaust your capacity to ascend. Turn from the human superstitions of ascension with its belief in masters and find the only and everlasting master within yourself. And the one key here is the thing that a lot of people are like, I want to get to this particular place. I want to be wealthy, right? And you get to that place of wealthy and then you're like, I want to be more wealthy, I guess, right? And that's why a lot of people are like, well, when's enough money? That really is a funny question. But sometimes for some people, it's all about making the money. They love it. Right? That's a lot of these very, very wealthy people. It was just the fact of being successful. They loved it. They loved starting up a new company and taking it from zero to, $100 billion. It was just fun for them. So, again, not all of us necessarily are going to become Bill Gates rich, but do you really need to be? No. So again, ascension is relative to ourselves, but there's always room to expand, to grow, to be bigger than you are right now. Tomorrow, bigger. Be bigger. Tomorrow, the day after that, be even bigger. Far greater is he that is in you than he that is in this world. Believe this, meaning, just that quote right there. It means there's no one in this world that is better at being you than you. There's no one in this world that knows more about becoming you than you. Your consciousness, the rising consciousness. Now, yes, you can hang out with people that have wealthier money to help you understand from a consciousness level what being rich is like. Or you can hang out with people in the tech industry because that's the kind of work you want to get into. Or people that do animation and graphic design, and that's what kind of work you do. And hang out with them and see what they're thinking, see what they're dealing with in business. I got a really good friend of mine that's number 2 in a very large tech company in this world, literally the number 2 dude. And he went to a neat convention down in San Diego. And when he came back, he was telling me, he's like, I was kind of walking around and I was asking a lot of these companies, what is the thing that you are trying to solve? And I laughed. I said, leave it to someone like you to ask that kind of question. And he goes, what do you mean? And I go, no, that's exactly the appropriate kind of question for someone that's number 2 in a huge company like you are. I go, that's really awesome. And I learned. It was perspective. Consciousness is still coming from within me. Any of that creation that I will become is going to come from me, not him. He helped me understand it better, sure. But ultimately, it's me that's going to become the number 2 guy at the company. Jesus would not permit himself to be called good master. He knew that there is but one good master and one master. He knew this one to be his Father in heaven, the awareness of being. The kingdom of God, or good, and the kingdom of heaven are within you. Your belief in masters is a confession of your slavery. Only slaves have masters. Change your conception of yourself, and you will, without the aid of masters or anyone else, automatically transform your world to conform to your changed conception of yourself. The second we realize it, the world transforms to us. It transforms. Our filter changes. Now we see it. Not 100% sure. It seems like it's multidimensional, multi-layered. That's kind of my perspective on it. But whatever the case is, when we shift our consciousness, when we shift our awareness, when we shift inside, things outside of us suddenly change. It's weird. It's super cool. I've tested this on many, many occasions with a lot of different situations. Certain kinds of people, certain kinds of drivers. This kind of car always drives this way. I realized, but just by having some of these beliefs, and then I change that, now all of a sudden I'm seeing one of those cars go zooming by me. I'm like, that's awesome. Someone that's actually driving their car appropriately. Jesus tried to show man that salvation was within himself and warned him not to look for his Savior in places or people. If anyone should come saying, look here or look there, believe him not, for the kingdom of heaven is within you. What if I say, look within you? Look there. So, yeah, I'm just saying. Jesus not only refused to permit himself to be called good master, he warned his followers, salute no man along the highway. He made it clear that they should not recognize any authority or superior other than God the Father. Jesus established the identity of the Father as man's awareness of being. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. I am one with all that I am conscious of being. I am greater than that which I am aware of being. The Creator is even greater than his creation. Again, we're greater. Our internal parts of ourselves are far greater than the greatness that we're experiencing right now. There is lots of room for ascension built within us. And of course, the creator of ourselves is even more grand in creation, right? So it's a beautiful thing, and there's lots of ascension built into it, and it's a beautiful relationship on top of all that. Your awareness is the master magician who conjures all things by being that which he would conjure. The Lord and Master that you are can and does make all that you are conscious of being appear in your world. Everything we put focus on ultimately is what becomes. If we decide we want to become more, better, higher, greater, grander, and decide that's what we're going to do, we elevate our consciousness to the ability of doing it. Good example, I decide, all right, I'm going to become a lot more like, I'm going to start competing bodybuilding. Totally not going to, so just go with me for a second here. But I'm going to compete bodybuilding, right? By raising my consciousness to that level, now all of a sudden my life is going to take on this new sort of regiment, new meaning. I'm going to probably have very strict times of day that I do certain things. I'm going to become extremely strict with my diet. I'm going to learn a lot about food in the process. I'm going to learn a lot about how the muscles and the body connects and different exercises that actually work and develop certain muscles in certain ways. The process of deciding I'm going to do something leads to this grander scheme. It happens with relationships. It happens with jobs. It happens with everything. It's that awareness of, it's that raising of your internal understanding, your internal guidance, your internal compass, your internal knowledge, your internal paying attention, and realizing this is what I'm going to do. Because you know that you can, you know that it comes from within you, so you decree it without doubt. You decree it as a sort of a demand, but not a demand, but you decree it. Like, this is what's so. Thank you. This will be. And you are grateful because the Creator created the ability for us to do this and has taught us in countless ways. No man or manifestation cometh unto me, save my Father draw him, and I and my Father are one. You are constantly drawing to yourself that which you are conscious of being. Change your conception of yourself from that of the slave to that of Christ. Don't be embarrassed to make this claim. Only as you claim, I am Christ, will you do the works of Christ. Man fails to do the works of Jesus Christ because he attempts to accomplish them from his present level of consciousness. You will never transcend your present accomplishments through sacrifice and struggle. Your present level of consciousness will only be transcended as you drop the present state and rise to the higher level. You rise to a higher level of consciousness by taking your attention away from your present limitations and placing it upon that which you desire to be. You do not attempt this in daydreaming or wishful thinking, but in a positive manner. Claim yourself to be the thing desired. I am that. No sacrifice, no diet, no human tricks. All that is asked of you is to accept your desire. If you dare claim it, you will express it. It will take steps. A number of steps will lead you to your desire. The second you claim it and desire it to be. Meditate on these. I rejoice not in the sacrifices of men, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. Ask and you shall receive. Come, eat and drink without price. The works are finished. All that is required of you to let these qualities into expression is the claim, I am that thing that you desire. I am that. Claim yourself to be that which you desire to be, and that you shall be. Expressions follow the impression. They do not precede them. Proof that you are will follow the claim that you are. It will not precede it. Proof always comes after. So as I was saying at the beginning of this video, we frequently look at what's going on in real life as proof that something's not working. It's proof of what you've been doing. Change your consciousness, rise internally, and look and see how that behaves in the physical world. Make a change inside. If what you're seeing outside is not what you want, look inside. What are you doing inside? What are you not doing inside? What are you not believing? Again, it's not the technique. It's the focus. It's the awareness. It's the acknowledging that this is my right to have. I deserve this. I'm worthy of this. Leave all and follow me is a double invitation to you. First, it invites you to turn completely away from all problems, and then it calls upon you to continue walking in the claim that you are that which you desire to be. Do not be a Lot's wife who looks back and becomes salted or preserved in the dead past. Be a Lot who does not look back, but who keeps his vision focused upon the promised land, the thing desired. Do this, and you will know that you have found the master magician, making the unseen the seen through the command, I am that. That is what Goddard is talking about. Claiming it, being it, making that decision. Like I've said before, and this will be the last little piece of this, a lot of people spend a lot of time looking backwards, trying to undo mistakes of the past, trying to undo things they've done, trying to deal with something that's already happened. So it's one thing to look at your now and go, it sucks. Well, you're going to continue to focus more on that. But when we look backwards at horrible things, we keep that alive. We carry it with us. Even hurt our chances. Let go of these things. Forgive. Look forward. Assume that they're going to forgive you. Assume that the pieces will fall in place. Assume that what other challenge that is in front of you right now is meant to be there, is part of your journey. There is something magical within this moment of contrast or transition. Get through it, change what's going on inside of yourself. Don't accept it as truth. Your truth is decided by you internally. Look outward. Don't look back. Don't look sideways. Look out. Where are you going? The promised land. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be with your specific person? Do you want to have that new job? Is there a new house that you see yourself living in? Is there a baby and a family that you're becoming? What is it? Claim it. See it. Walk towards it. Accept nothing else. I don't care what is showing in your physical reality. I don't care that they didn't text you back. Look internally. Focus on where you're going. Don't worry about the little weird things. If you're truly trying to manifest a relationship with someone, don't worry about the text message. Okay? Let these things play out how they may. Let them play out exactly how they should and how they will. Frankly, you can't control them. And what's going to happen a lot of the times when we try to is we just get frustrated because it's not going to play out exactly how you think it'll play out. You'll end up exactly where the promised land is, But your journey will not go exactly as you think it will, ever. It almost never does. It's always cool, and it's always an adventure. And that's why I enjoy this process so much. And that's why I think the name of the book that we're currently reading from, Your Faith is Your Fortune. Understanding that it's all within us. It's the consciousness, understanding that that's how it works, and then the faith to let it unfold. That's your fortune. That's where we win. Dan, Radio Style.